Cracking, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. New video. Today we're going to react. Second video of the day. The first one's not doing anything. It's a Royce review. Excuse me. So I get it. However, this is a reaction to a friend of mine's channel. Excuse me. Damian Porter. Damian is a friend of mine. Before this video and after this video, he'll be a friend of mine. So let's make that clear. He got at me earlier this morning and said he was going to be uploading a video, response video to the drinking fountain video I did the other day. It seems as though some of the blacks are taking this to heart for some reason. When I never ever try to have any bias when I tell stories, you know. It's funny how people say, oh, the according to Dubs, the Southerners never lose and this. And I never tell win or lose stories. I definitely could. But my channel isn't for glorifying that lifestyle. My channel is to give people a glimpse at what goes on and remind people that it's not a place where anybody would really want to be. Right. So, but I intent and perception are two different things. People that don't like me will perceive my words the way they want to perceive it. I can't help that. Now, this one is called My Reaction to Dubs Saying That Blacks Could Not Drink Out of a Certain Water Fountain. That title is going to inflame a whole lot of people right there. But I want to respond to it, and there's a good chance that I will be interviewing Damian behind this video, and we'll chop it up about it. We'll discuss it. It's just basically when time permits. But let's get to it. I don't know if that's copyrighted. Let me skip that. I played a lot of that shit. I think that's, let me see.
Episode. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share the video. Hit the join button and become a member. Why? Well, members get exclusive content. Hit the bell icon on my channel so that you will receive a notification every time that I drop a video. And you can go and check it out. Let's get into it. I had to do a reaction to this video that Dubs did regarding blacks not being able to drink out of the water faucet or a certain water faucet on the yard there in Folsom. Now, I watched this video at 4 a.m. this morning. Perhaps I was still a bit asleep, and maybe I misheard some things. I'm going to watch it for the second time with you all, and I'm going to listen closely. But for those, most of you guys know that the history between Dubs and I. For those that don't, he and I used to be very close in CYA. Before he pushed my tooth back, we got into a fight. He pushed my tooth back, and we had lost contact after that.
Well, we both went to Cambria, and then after Cambria, I don't think we ever saw each other again. And I did a video on Cambria the other day. Cambria and Paso Robles was the shoe, basically the shoe for kids right there in Paso Robles. Why?
And Dubs, shout out to him, has been helping me with my channel.
Absolutely.
From day one. And was recently making all of my thumbnails for me without a problem, and was doing it promptly, and didn't charge me a dime, even though I offered him money. So a good man in my book.
Appreciate it. Likewise.
And someone that I would consider a friend.
Likewise.
And I haven't spoke with Dubs about this video.
He should have.
He and
I told him that because I did see a little bit of this, and I texted him. I said, wow, you should have got at me, man, at least for some clarification. However, he's going to say what he'll clarify right now why he didn't. But I really wish he would have. It may have gave him a different understanding, at least more insight into what was going on. But I'll do that here.
And I haven't spoke with Dubs about this video. He and I do text each other. He just sent me a long text the other day regarding some information about my channel, something that would help me with my channel. And so we communicate. And probably I could have sent him a text or a phone call before I did this reaction, but I didn't want to taint my reaction to his video. I didn't want what he had to say to me to influence my reaction. I sort of want to go at it as if it's not Dubs that's doing the video. How would I react if it was someone else doing the video?
Yeah, but we all want to get as much facts as possible. Come on now. We know that. I mean, yeah, this ain't prison no more. Nobody's life is at stake, hopefully, behind shit like this. You know, it's just YouTube. It's two old convicts talking about stuff. But because you weren't there, you know damn well he knows he would have called me or texted me, especially about a video like this. I would have damn sure picked up the phone call or texted and said, hey, call me, or I would have called him, you know.
In order for my reaction to be authentic, but that's going to be hard to do because I have to bear in mind that it is Dubs that did the video. And I have to take into consideration his cachet and knowing that he has been to prison and has been a shot caller and has put in work in prison. However, perhaps, again, I misunderstood. Maybe I missed a whole chunk of the video because I'm missing something. Or maybe Dubs misremembers or misunderstands what transpired. Because though I wasn't there, Dubs said that this happened in 2004 or 2005. I was in High Desert at the time.
More than likely 2004.
And I didn't have to be there. I know how level 4s work. I know how politics work inside of these level 4s. Let me disabuse you now, public, of this stupid notion that blacks are somehow behind the walls afraid of Southsiders or something. You know, and I see now what some blacks be saying, like some of these Southsiders, and I'm talking about Dubs, some of these other ones, some people accuse Dubs of it. I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of his content like that. He advises me, and I appreciate it. But some, I know other ones, they really embellish some of these stories and make it appear as if, according to some of my commenters, like blacks are in there with their tails tucked. That's not the case, bro. Dub says here in this video that the only threat to Southsiders are other Southsiders.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely. And Chinaman, you know, I'm sure you've seen how many times Southerners have whacked Southerners. There's no other group. I don't care what group it is. There is no other group in the California Department of Corrections that whacks their own people, kills their own people at a higher rate than Southern Mexican. It's a fact. So, you know, guaranteed the biggest threat is themselves, each other. You know, and that's not a knock on any other faction. It's just the politics are that hard, and people are willing to push that hard, and sometimes they do it. Anyways, I'm not gonna get into that.
Let me say in this video that the only threat to blacks are other blacks. We don't worry about nobody else. I've heard countless blacks say, man, shit, man, you know, they have some blacks that are racist as well.
Thank you. I've been saying this, and I appreciate, and this is why this dude's my friend. He's keeping it real. Many blacks in there hate Mexicans. Southerners hate them. Probably hate Northerners too, but hate them. And listen to what he says.
That don't like Mexicans. And you hear him say all the time, man, we get into them, I'm going to knock 100 of their ass out. I'm going to stab them up. I'm going to this, that. Man, fuck them. I hate them motherfuckers, man. Them motherfuckers think they better than us. You know, this. You hear him say that. I don't hear blacks saying, I'm afraid of them.
And I will keep it real. Let me rewind it back to that spot. Let me see. I'm not going to get it exactly.
I'm going to stab them up. I'm going to this, that. Man, fuck them. I hate them motherfuckers, man. Them motherfuckers think they better than us, you know.
They do. That's a fact. Southerners are bred I talked about this in my Southern Arrogance video. Southerners are bred. It's part of the propaganda. It's part of the indoctrination. Southerners are bred in there. I shouldn't say Southerners. I'll say the word. I never use it. Sureños are bred to believe there's only one group above them. Everyone else is beneath them. And they're to conduct themselves with respect and humility, but understanding that they're the cream of the crop. So yeah, when the blacks say, yeah, they think they're better, they do. They do. And it shouldn't be a bad thing. Everyone, I'm not that they're race, but that they're group. If you're in that life, you're not supposed to think you're less than another group, right? You're supposed to think, they ain't shit. I mean, I respect them. I respect this dude. You're going to respect the individual and understand, like, that vato right there, keep an eye on him. But as far as group to group, of course, you should always think your group is more powerful.
No, you hear him say that. I don't hear blacks saying, I'm afraid of them. I don't hear that, bro. So this whole idea that blacks went to the water faucet and 3 Sureños surrounded him.
It was way more than 3. It was 3 blacks, I believe, that went. There was a lot more Southerners that surrounded him. But Chinaman's missing a big part in this. And we spoke about it on the phone, but I want to hear this out.
And told him that he can't drink out of this water faucet. And he just accepted that. And every black on the yard just accepted that. It's mind-blowing to me. Knowing what I know about politics in the level 4 prisons, Dub said that.
Rewind that. So, in my video, I talked about there was. Okay, let me break this down. We'll go in the proper order. In the video, no, let me let him say his thing and let him play the video. Let me just do it that way.
Knowing what I know about politics in the level 4 prisons, Dub said that they had some young Southsiders there and they just wanted to start a war with the blacks. Well, just start a war then. Just kick it off. What you waiting on? We ain't going nowhere. What you got to use a water faucet as an excuse for? Because don't the shot callers have other people that they have to answer to? That was the problem with going to war in Pelican Bay. That's why they couldn't get on the same page. They couldn't get on the same page in San Quentin.
Totally different thing in Pelican Bay. Pelican Bay, you had 2 different groups within the Southerners that both claimed leadership. And I've already talked enough about that. This was 2 totally separate things. This was a thing where the leadership wasn't calling for war, but you had homies, and we're going to get to it. We'll get to it in a second, but it completely different thing.
With the story that I just brought you, the Mexican Mafia couldn't get on the same page about when to attack.
I don't know.
Because they had higher ups that they had to answer to. And it's the same thing there in Folsom. They have higher ups that they have to answer to. So if you kick off a war because you're going to tell blacks that they can't drink out of a fucking water faucet, and ain't no blacks about to accept that, and some of y'all get hurt during that war, don't y'all have to answer to that? Don't the shot callers have to answer to that?
Yes. There was no war.
Now, as I said, Dubs is my guy. And I'm not saying that he's lying. But what I am saying, take it how you want, is that this didn't happen like this. There's no way.
All right.
Level 4 yards are serious, bro.
Absolutely.
Understand this. I'm one of them boys. But I'm just one of them. There's a lot of strong black men behind those walls, extremely educated, have been reading books for decades behind the walls, are extremely well read, are warrior and soldier-like in their characteristics every day. Very strong of mind and body. and have an abundance of racial pride. And they will never back down to another race. They would die first. I know this. I know these men. And I know that no one would ever tell them, no one, that they can't drink out of a fucking water faucet unless they're prepared to go up.
It happened.
Immediately.
It happened. And we'll get to it. We'll get to an understanding. Whether or not the understanding is accepted, again, how people perceive things is up to them individually. A lot of it has to do with what's in their heart. People that hate Mexicans, everything I say in this is going to be a lie. And as far as, you know, decades of reading and racial pride and all, that's cool. Everybody should be proud of their heritage. But we're talking about an incident, a specific incident. And then perhaps if Damien, if he would have been there, then perhaps there would have been a war. And he's right. Those that chose to move the drinking fountain, it would have come down on them because it wasn't voted on. So he's right. It would have came out in the wash, but there would have been a war. As soon as that drinking fountain was moved, that was basically like, oh shit, all right, let's go in there. Now we got to see what happens. I wasn't with that. Not moving a drinking fountain. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Today's gonna be another glimpse at prison, another prison story. Once again, all I can do is keep it real. So this one happened around 2004 or 2005. I believe it was 4.
I was in High Desert.
Sea facility in New Folsom. Now, for those of you that have been around, you've heard about it. For those of you that haven't, let me.
I certainly should have heard about this.
In New Folsom, B facility was always considered, since it opened, B facility was considered the gangster yard for Southerners. A facility was, I think, the first full-blown PC yard in California. It wasn't even called that. It was a place where a lot of the dudes that were there really were former legends that had found themselves in bad standing or whatever, been hit, whatever it was. That's who was over there, as well as dudes that got hit on B facility. They would send them over there and they would transfer them, I don't know where after that, but and then C facility had a curfew. Somebody asked me before, what is a curfew? A curfew is a set limit of time that people were allowed, that Southerners were allowed to be on that facility. For C facility, it was 9 months, and people are like, 9 months? The fuck? That's a long time. The reason why is because there were no dropouts on the yard. There was trash there though, and people ask me when I say, what is a junkyard? A junkyard means there's trash there. Trash meaning dudes that are no good. And sometimes what would happen, or a lot of times, dudes would get hit on B facility and they'd send them to C facility, and that was a strong. Again, that's Southerners, and I should have been more clear. When I'm speaking, I can't speak for. It should be obvious. I can't speak for Crips and Bloods, Kumis, Northerners, Whites. What I'm saying is B facility was always considered a gangster yard for Southerners. It was considered a victim yard. C facility was considered a victim yard for Southerners. B facility was considered the gangster yard. So hopefully that clarifies a little bit. For the Northern Raza, C facility. And what these dudes would do is they would go over there, basically lick their nuts, not get off, and identify for the Northerners. Whenever a homie would come, a camarada would come, they would say, hey, you might want to hit that dude. Or dudes that they knew from that county jail or whatever, they would say, hey,
that dude's with it, you might want to hit him, and the Northerners would try to do that. If the dude was caught slipping, they would hit him. If not, there would be a thing between them.
So as I'm watching this, I'm listening to myself, right? But I'm watching Chinaman's body language, and he's riled up. That's unfortunate, man. It's I don't know what happened, but it seems as though he's tense and he's looking to pick things apart. And I try to not go into things like that, but I'm gonna do my reaction. I'm gonna try to clarify as much as possible. But like I said, those who dislike me, they hear what they hear.
Anyways, around 2000, the Northerners decided to file paperwork that they did not.
This is why I stopped shopping on Amazon, and you should too. Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch this first.
Watch this. I can show you how to get the sweetest deals online when you shop from major
to share the yard with Southerners and whites, only blacks and others, and natives, right?
That's true.
They filed paperwork. That paperwork led them to be taken off the yard, placed in their cells, and gave the Southerners more access and more action to take over the yard without even a war.
And I want to say, I never said this before, but so when that happened, the table that belonged to the Northerners, the Bloods took. There was no fight over it. They weren't going to the yard no more. The administration was forcing them to go to the concrete yard. And 180, every building has, except on B facility on 5 block, they don't have one. But on C facility, every building, mostly every 180 yard, every building has their own concrete yard attached to it, shoe yard, they used to call it. And that's where they were putting the Northerners for yard. Initially, they were letting them, when everybody would go in, they were letting them go from like 3 to 4 o'clock on the big yard. But then they were worried about people running in or running out of the chow halls when the truck comes. So then they put them on the concrete yards. But so they lost their table to the Bloods without anything happening. They lost the yard to the Southerners without anything happening because they chose to file these papers. And not all of them agreed. I've talked about that before.
That's when things changed. The curfew was lifted. Prior to that, the curfew was lifted.
Reacting to this.
But that right there changed the game.
So as he's speaking, I'm saying that lifted the curfew right there. In 2000, there was no longer a curfew on C facility. Was everybody automatically cool on C facility for the Southerners? No. And I mentioned that when I got there in 2001, 9 of us within 2 weeks, 9 of us from Pelican Bay came down. And within 30 days of our arrival, about 50 dudes either transferred out or locked it up, PC'd up, because we arrived. So that's just another glimpse into what we're going to get into in this video.
React to.
I got down there in 2001. I've told many stories of what happened. There was somebody in place. They were doing a bad job. I didn't want to have anything to do with the leadership there. The dudes.
So yeah, man. I'll get into some of that what Dubs is talking about in one of my other videos soon. The Norteños filing that paperwork, and as a result of them filing that paperwork, they were locked up in different prisons, and everyone else came out, and other races were able to sort of gain the power and take over the yard. Sort of backfired on the Norteños. Mm-hmm. That's not what they were asking for. That's not what they wanted. But that's what ended up happening. Mm-hmm. But right now, I just want to stay focused on reacting to Dub's video or the part about the water faucets. So I'll get into the other stuff later. Mm-hmm. I'm just playing this whole video. I was going to skip some of it and just go to the part where where the incident happened over the water faucet.
Oh, this is a 38-minute video. I'm not going to do this whole video, so I'm not going to get to everything, but I'm going to address some of this.
Thing out. For right now, I'm not that good at cutting out certain stuff and getting right. You can see how it's all set up. I mean, just bear with me, man. But had to play this shit, man. Let's see. Go check out Dub's channel. Y'all go watch the video yourself. He has a good channel. He has a lot of stories, a lot of content. And again, he's helped me out in my channel, with my channel from day one. From day one, he was there for me.
Absolutely.
Before Milk or anybody did anything for me, Dubs was doing shit for me. So, I mean, I'm going to always remember that no matter what. Let's continue, though.
That came down with me, none of us wanted to have anything to do with leadership. We wanted to be able to stay in the corner, make some money, do our thing, let them have the headache, because that's all it was. Unfortunately, these dudes could not get it together. Myself and a handful of other dudes, 4 other dudes, wound up taking the yard over and becoming the leadership. Okay, so
Dubs is a shot caller.
Okay, so that right there, you know, I have technically, Damien's right there. However, the only real shot callers are the legends, as far as for the whites and the Mexicans. They're the only real shot callers. You know, I had a position, I held a position, I had some responsibilities. So technically that term is correct, but I don't believe, you know, the shot callers are the legends. That's all I'm gonna say.
now fast forward to, I can't remember, it was 2004, 2005. We had already had an incident over a handball court with the blacks, which was handled without any bloodshed. We wound up taking over the handball court. And
it took over
unfortunately, there were a lot of youngsters. There was 120 of us on the yard.
Okay, hold on.
There was a lot of young.
Hold on. My bad, y'all. I keep on hitting my little light. It's like a little shortage or something in this damn thing. I ain't helping it. Oh my God. Okay. So, now, I'll refer you to one of my earlier videos, which was Level 4 Protocol, where I said that when the yards are established, or when the yards first open up, it's established who has what table, what handball court, what pull-up bars. And oftentimes a riot happens over it. Not that there is no bloodshed, we just took over the handball court. No, it's gonna be bloodshed.
Okay, now let me stop that there. Now I'll refer you to a video as well. I did a video 2 years ago. I don't remember the name of it though, but it discussed the handball court. And I'll refer you to a second video by Nate Dogg 916, who was there, and he tells the story from the blacks' point of view because he was there on the yard with me, and says it. Whose responsibility it was. Now, I don't know when Damien entered the CDC. I'm assuming it was a little bit after me. And the reason why I say that is this. It has always been known that when a new prison opens up, there's going to be a war for real estate. Let me say that again. There will be a war for real estate. People are going to want certain tables, certain handball courts, certain basketball courts, whatever. They're going to go to war for it. I remember I was in New Folsom B facility, 1995. When, what was it? Salinas Valley was going to open up. They were putting signups in all the day rooms. And I remember Vato signing up. And homies were laughing at him. Orale, check you out signing up for a shoot term. You know damn well we're gonna go to war if you go over there, right? Salinas Valley opened up and there wasn't a single war over a fucking thing. Apparently cooler heads were there and everybody said, how about we get this? There was no war over a table, a basketball court. And I remember in New Folsom, everybody's like, damn, what's up with that place, eh? The homies didn't get off. I remember the talk. Everybody was blown away. 1996, High Desert opened up. There was not a single war over a table, a basketball court, a handball court, nothing. No, the first murder that happened was between North and South. I've told that story, I think. I know the story. I don't want to get into it. But those two prisons opened and they didn't fucking go to war over basketball courts, handball court. But that has always been in the past. Prior to that, what had happened. Calipatria was very known for that. It was bad. I think the war lasted like 4 fucking years over there or something like that. I know it lasted a few years, right? Also, clarification, a reminder. Damien's right. There's usually was something went down and something was established. But I need to reiterate and remind people, when CSP SAC, which is New Folsom, when New Folsom was first opened up, A facility was considered no good for Southerners and everybody else for that matter. B facility for the Southerners was considered the gangster yard. A C facility was considered the victim's yard. When I got to New Folsom C facility, any man, I don't care if you're white, you're black, you're Asian, you're Native American, you're Pacific Islander, I don't care what you are. If you've done time and a level 4 180, let me explain to you what the Southerners had on C facility and ask yourself, have you ever seen that? Ever? We got to C facility in New Folsom. The Southerners had half of a basketball court, 1 table, 1 handball court, and we didn't know. We were supposedly supposed to share another handball court with the Kumi. Nobody's ever seen that. Ever. Southerners always get huge real estate. The blacks get huge real estate. Those were the 2 main factors on the yard. So they always got the most real estate. So when we went there, and the first thing was that handball court, when we were made aware, like, what there was an argument. You guys can go and watch the story, right? Watch the video. See that it was co-signed by Nate Dogg 916. The thing that I had to make clear was, and that we made clear in negotiations, was this little tiny bit of area that the Southerners have. No Southerners ever spoke for this. Dudes that couldn't be on the yard with Southerners, they're the ones that spoke to you guys about this real estate. Right now, we're not pushing for you, the Kumi, to have to move to another spot for the other half of the basketball court. We're not pushing for more real estate, but we are saying we don't share that handball court with nobody. Come on now, there's no room. So if we got to go to war over some shit you guys discuss with PCs, then that's what's going to have to happen. But I mean, it don't make no sense, right? You guys never used the handball court. So that was the whole thing. And that was the whole thing on this whole, everything was discussed between blacks and dudes that couldn't even be on the yards with Southerners, that had got whacked when they were around Southerners. And they were trying to hold those boundaries to Southerners when Southerners started coming. So hopefully you get an understanding of why people were tripping, coming down from the shoe, coming from other 180s, like, damn, this is all we got? But we were just rebuilding. We were in a rebuilding phase at the time. The Southerners were in a rebuilding phase, and they had never really had hitters on that yard for Southerners the way they now did. And it was freaking out the administration. I mean, it was a lot. The administration was really trying to fuck over the Southerners on that yard. That's a whole different story that maybe I'll get into.
Do the research. It's been riots in most prisons that open up between blacks and Southsiders, or blacks and Norteños, whoever's in that prison. Blacks going up with them to establish the hierarchy and who has what on the yard. Folsom has been opened up at this time,
1987,
for some time, and they just now about to argue and fight over the handball court. Who's had it up until this point? The handball court. Who had it up until this point? I want to know. I wonder. And why would it change? who wants to change? You know, and y'all just say, you know, that's what it's going to be. They just agreed, man. You sure this wasn't a PCR, Dubs?
Again, refer to my video on this 2 years ago. Go check out Nate Dogg 916's video. You know, that's all I can say.
Because these dudes, these black dudes on here, they sounding weak as this not the level 4 I know. With none of these dudes on here that you speaking of right now. I don't know about these type of level 4s right here. I've never been on these. I've never been on these kind of level 4. They just gave y'all the handball court and said, okay, that's it. The black leaders, man, I know some strong dudes up in there, bro. Some strong dudes. These dudes strong as fuck.
Were they there? The dudes you know that were strong, were they there? And I believe there was some strong dudes in New Folsom Sea facility at the time. And I believe they understood, and we'll get to the drinking fountain in a minute, but the handball court, no blacks ever played handball on that handball court. But one day, a different group that didn't have anything to do with that handball court came up and tried to get on the handball court. No Mexicans knew anything about so-called sharing. But again, watch the video and then watch the black point of view from Nate Dogg 916. And you see, I tell no lies. Why would I? I don't tell any of these stories to glorify one group over another. I do it to, like I said earlier, man, and like I always say, to give you guys a glimpse at how fucked up prison is and why you don't want to be there. But here we go.
They ready to die or unalive for theirs. I'm telling you. In every prison, bro, in every level 4, you got blacks like that. In every level. You know, I wasn't there. I don't have to be. I know the politics. And I've never heard that there have been fights over the handball court, pull-up bars, the tables, but never over a water faucet. The water faucet is open to everyone. Everybody's out there running laps, tired, working out. Ain't nobody finna walk over here to go to no damn water faucet. Man, this don't belong to nobody.
Wrong. Completely wrong. Zero understanding of the real estate. There were 3 drinking fountains on the yard. 2 of them inside black areas. Nobody can drink from them but blacks. There was 1 drinking fountain in a neutral area near the Southerners. That drinking fountain, someone decided, you know, with help of others, and I'm going to explain because people can't understand. What do you mean? How do you move a drinking fountain? We're going to get to that too. The drinking fountain was dug up and moved approximately 20 feet in. It had been on the track, right on the edge of the southern area and on the track, so it was neutral. There were some Southerners that felt, why is it that they have access to 3 drinking fountains, but we have access to only 1? Again, people were irritated at the lack of real estate. More homies were coming. More heavies were coming that were like, what's up with this shit? And the leadership, for the most part, we were trying to keep it to, hey, there's enough real estate for now. Let's get this money. At the time, the new system had been put in place as far as the MESA system. We were trying to maintain order, generate as much funds as possible so that the legends were comfortable. There was a lot of other things going on that were way more fucking serious than that damn drinking fountain or getting off on somebody over nothing. But there was a little group that was like, fuck that, we're willing to do it. But they couldn't put it to a vote. The vote would have been shot. The vote would have been shot. Like, we ain't going to war with no shit like that. So they were trying to instigate it to clarify. When earlier was like, you want to go to war, go to war. Yeah, that's easy. However, the leadership was focused on business. Now, the drinking fountain, because there's a lot of people that they're like, what, the drink? How do you move a drink? The drinking fountain basically was like a 4-foot length PVC pipe. I don't know, it probably wasn't PVC, but it was a plastic pipe about 10 inches in diameter, stuck in the dirt. There was a nozzle stuck in there, like for the drinking fountain, and then it was filled with gravel so that the nozzle wouldn't move around. That was the drinking fountain. So what happened was they dug around it, dug a trail about 20 feet, cut the PVC piping, reconnected the PVC piping to where they had put it. It was not something made out of brick or stone or anything. It was a fucking PVC pipe with gravel in it and a nozzle. That was the drinking fountain. It was moved about 20 feet in. It was now clearly in Southern territory. Just like the other two drinking fountains were clearly in Black territory. Nobody could use those two. So because of where it had been moved, only Southerners and whites were going to be able to use this drinking fountain. Actually, no, the whites couldn't even use it. I'm sure they probably did because it was kind of close to the thing, but I'm just saying that's how it happened. And yes, it was a bunch of dudes that walked over there. There was one incident. Everybody on the yard saw it. It got quiet. I was approached. I'm not going to say the name. I've called Damien on the phone. We spoke about it. I told him which black shot caller from neighborhood Crip got at me. We discussed it in 3 building. Cooler heads prevailed. It was understood. Like, man, fuck that shit. They had 2. You gonna go to war for a neutral one?
This is fucking water. This shit is for everybody.
Then all 3 of them should have been.
I wish you would. Approach me talking about we can't drink no water over here.
Wow.
Youngsters there who had never been involved in warfare with the blacks, who wanted war with the blacks, who felt like we needed more real estate. And we did. We honestly did. However, the leadership, myself and 3 of us on the leadership felt it wasn't the time. There was a lot of stuff going on in other yards that was affecting the money flow to the legends.
Ever since you were young, you were lied to.
So Dubs just said that himself and 3 other leaders,
2 other,
said that it wasn't time, that some young Rasa, they wanted to go to war with blacks just for, he didn't say why, just
for real estate. I did say why, for real estate. But real estate even then would have just been an excuse. They didn't like blacks. And it was some of them, they just didn't like blacks. Period. I don't sugarcoat shit. Some of them, that was their reason. Other ones, it was the real estate. There was not a lot of real estate for Southerners. And I thought I was pretty clear on it. But we've spoken on the phone. But this is to clarify for others who didn't understand it.
For no reason. They just wanted to go to war with blacks. And I guess they were okay with it too. Except for the fact that it just wasn't the time.
No, if we were okay with it, it would have happened. Let's be very, very clear. The 3 of us we understood what the obligations were. Justifying that to the legends. You know how stupid that sounds? See, I know that the different factions have different priorities. But Southerners have to explain. The leadership has to explain to their bosses why they're not fucking getting money no more. So you think telling them, oh, wow, they had 2 drinking fountains and so we felt it wasn't fair. We wanted one. You think that's good? This whole, the Southerners want to get off on blacks just because they're blacks and for no reason. There has to be a reason. The regular The regular dudes on the yard, they can do whatever. They know, hey, it ain't on me. It's on the leadership. I was part of the leadership. I knew what the obligations and the priorities were. If there would have been some disrespect, something that couldn't be overlooked, then yeah, let's roll. The vote would have been unanimous. But no, we're not going to war over a fucking drinking fountain. The real estate thing was annoying, but we had enough room at that time. You know, I'm getting into a lot of stuff, but hopefully this clarifies. You know, but like I said, you know, the Southerners, it don't matter if you're in a leadership position. You ain't nobody. At the end of the day, if you're smart, you realize that. See, the dummies that get back then, now the legends are out there, so that's out the window. But before, you had idiots that really they got a little position and they thought they were a legend, and they'd get chopped down pretty fucking quick. Anyways,
timing wasn't right because some legends, the people he referred to as legends, understand these are his legends. Us blacks, we don't give a damn about none of that shit. We can have our own legends, bro, that we respect and admire.
Exactly.
You understand? We don't care about it. They're not legends to us. We don't fear that shit, man. It's a misnomer, a fallacy. It's fallacious that we are afraid of any damn one.
Who said you were? Who said anything about anyone being afraid? See, I think I'm going to end this here because, like I said, I don't think that what I'm saying is what's being heard. When you have two different groups with complete different ideologies, complete different structure, organizational structure, codes of conduct when it comes to business, there's going to be that lack of understanding. There could be, you can kind of understand 99% of shit, but you won't understand 100%. If you weren't raised in something, it's like going to a foreign country, you know, and you could do time around somebody like, I don't look as many decades as I did around Northerners. I don't know their whole get down. I know some of it. I don't know the Crips' whole get down. I know some of it. But I think I've seen enough. I think I've hopefully explained enough. Shout out to Damien. You want to check out his channel. Check out the rest of his reaction. And I don't think there's anything else that I could add to it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.